he's going to go in and do all that. So with that being said, I would say that it's probably 4:03. So what we'll do is go ahead and start. I see some of you guys are here that I've seen before. Some of you guys are here that I've never seen before. So just so you know, these live training sessions, they're for you. Whatever you want to see, whatever you want to learn, you just let me know either by unmuting yourself and having a conversation or by typing something into the chat box, what you want to see. And then we just kind of go in. We just kind of go in and do those things live on the actual training. So if you want to go ahead and start with that, as soon as you guys tell me what you want to learn or what questions you need or what things you're trying to do that you haven't been able to do that you want me to show you exactly how to do it, then the quicker I can go in and actually start showing you those things. So don't be shy, guys. This is your time to get inside my head and find out whatever it is that you want to know. So don't be shy. Just open your mouth or put.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure. What's that?
How to take a payment easily in bot? Directly from the bot. What would be the best way? Where let's suppose I'm a burger burger truck, food truck where I sell burgers and all that stuff, and someone wants to order, he can just get into my bot and order the burger, make a payment, and come to pick up. What would be the best way to do that?
Oh, okay. So for that, now guys, the whole point of these sessions and these trainings, it is not for me to self-promote myself. So I don't want you guys to think that I'm here just to promote myself and my products and services. But this question does honestly happen to have an answer, and the best answer for this is to use one of my products. So this product is a product that's created by my company, and it was created specifically to serve this gap. So you have other ways that you can go in and collect payment through your bot. So as Adrian, I would actually need you to give more information about PayPal, what you're actually wanting to do with PayPal. I need you to elaborate here, but this is one of the options that you have. You could use PayPal to collect money. Now, the only limiting factor that you're going to see with PayPal is PayPal will not allow you to have mutatable amounts, which means that any amount that you want to actually charge, you need to have that amount. You need to have that amount preset inside PayPal. You already need to have a buy it button where you can go in and get some URL from PayPal and then put that URL inside your bot and then serve that URL up where a user can just click it. It will open up natively inside the web view, inside the Messenger app, and let them pay it. But like I said, if you're some food truck, then what that means, man, if you're a food truck, that means you're going to spend a week just going into PayPal and creating all these different buttons for every combination of items that people can order from your truck. So to alleviate that, we've created this platform for you. So this is a simple invoicing platform. And I'll log into this account because this account is, as you can see, and looks like it's specifically used for this demo bot because it's in test mode where it doesn't accept live payments. All the payments are actually done with a dummy test credit card. So they're just all, test data. So what this allows you to do is go in and create invoices so that you can go in and actually create an invoice. And on this invoice, you can just create line items, one-off items, and then you can go in and also add custom subscriptions here. So if you want to have a monthly subscription, you could add this here and you can generate this invoice, send it out to a user, and collect payment on this invoice. You can also go in and create you can also go in and create product invoices, which are generic invoices that you can create for a particular product, like a hot dog, and you can have 1 million people go in and pay that invoice. They'll get to that product page, and whenever they get to that product page, they can make their payment, and whenever they make their payment, they'll basically generate a custom invoice receipt that they can then print or save as a record of their payment. Now, this guy we did build, like I said, we built this pretty much. Now we built this software a long time ago as a demo software. And then whenever I really got into this mini chat stuff and I realized that everybody was asking for payment and there was no real easy solution for payment, I just had my engineers go in and modify this guy to make it work really, really easy with mini chat. So if you were to go in and hit make a zap, and then you were to go in and actually use this guy as an app, you can see as an action, you've got an action where you can create an invoice. In this invoice, I'm pretty sure it's this guy right here, which is that account. In this invoice, you can go in and add your custom subscription. If you want, you can add a subscription to this. You can give the person's name for the invoice, give a memo what the invoice is about, give their email, give particular items, the quantity, the price, give a tax rate, decide the actual currency that you're going to use, and then also put in the mini chat ID so that once these people pay this invoice, because if you look here, if you pick the same guy, then this same guy right here, you have some triggers where if somebody actually pays your general invoice, you'll get a notification and you could then push some data back into mini chat. There's also these product invoices. These are those one-off invoices. For example, I use these product invoices. Right inside here. If you were to go in and actually look, let's see. I'll show you a good example of a product invoice. If you go in here and let's say you want to access all the replays of this training because you couldn't make it to the training session, so you want to access all the replays. Well, no problem. If you guys want to access, you can see that here, these guys on this row right here, these are all 1 to 3 hour training sessions, just like the one that we're about to embark on. And I'm missing 2 of them here. I've already done 4 today. This is the 5th one. I haven't uploaded the other ones. Here's one of them. Here's one of them right there that I just put up. And I literally think I gave that guy the wrong name. Maybe I've only done 3 of them. I'll have to go back in and look. But I would add that guy in right there. So you can see here's all the live training sessions so far. And we still have 4 more of these guys, 4 more days that we're going to add, each of which will have 2 training sessions. So each of these guys is an hour, just completely packed with content. If you want to access those, no problem. But if you want to access those, the first thing I'm going to check to see, do you give me money? You should be giving me $10 a month if you want to access all this content. If you don't think my time is worth $10 a month for, some 40 hours, well, what I would say to you would be really censored, so I won't say it because the marketing guys are telling me I got to create this. I can't let my real personality come out. I got to have this persona. Yeah.
Tell me where I can send you $10. I want to pay right now.
So if you want to do that, you can just go inside the bot, and for example, you can give this as a keyword. So you can give pre-training videos, pre-training replays. You can give any of those things as a keyword.
Okay.
All right. Now, once you give this as a keyword, what's going to happen is we're first going to go in and check a condition. So first, I'm going to go in and check a condition to see, are you currently on this subscription where you pay me this this $10 a month? So I'm going to go in right here and we're going to check that condition.
Okay.
All right. So now if that condition resolves to true, then I'll route you over here. I'll give you all this premium content. I'll deliver all this content. If that doesn't route to true, then what I'll do is I'll actually give you one piece of content for free so you can look at that content and you can evaluate the value and see, hey, does a bunch of this content, is this worth $10 a month to me? So I'll give you that one free piece of content to hook you, because I'm pretty confident that once you go in and consume that one piece of content, you'll say, hell yeah, this video alone was worth $100. So if I get a bunch of these for $10 a month, yeah, sign me up. So I'll give you one of those free pieces of content. Now, once you consume that free piece of content, if you try to do that again, then you're going to be routed to this flow right here that says, look, in order for you to proceed and get these, you need to pay for this help. So if you look at this flow right here, this flow basically walks you through and says, hey, you need to go in and pay for this help. And I do that. by showing you a picture of me and my beautiful sons giving me a kiss so that you understand, hey, this guy's a real person. He's got kids and stuff. So besides that, his kids are just completely beautiful. And I'd give $10
They
a
are
month just
cute.
to look at his kids. So now
They
I
are
actually,
cute.
yeah, they're totally
They look like you, man.
yeah, just
Awesome.
totally adorable. So I route you to this page. I deliver you this piece of content right here. I deliver you this message right here where you can see in this message right here, this message, I'm not going to get it because I've done some conditional checking on myself, and I've realized, hey, the only way you should get here is if you haven't paid me, but in fact you have paid me, so I don't really know how you got to this piece of content right here. But you would be delivered this piece of content, and this piece of content is going to have a link right to this product invoice. This is a product invoice right here. Okay, so now this invoice is going to open up right inside Messenger. And this invoice opens up right inside Messenger. And now once this opens up, you can make the payment right there. Then it will route you, show you your actual invoice. And then you can come in and have some Zapier hook like this that says product invoice. Whenever a product invoice has been paid, you want to actually do something. Now, these product invoices, since these are generic and they don't belong to a specific user, there's no way for you to attach a ManyChat ID to one of these invoices because it's a generic invoice that can be paid 100 times by 100 different people. So when you do pay it, though, you do have to use an email address. So I just tell you in my flow that, hey, make sure you use the same email address, whatever email address I have on file for you. That way, whenever you pay it, I can get the data. I can come here and do an action. And then I can do a ManyChat action, and then I can actually do a lookup, and I can look up a user. I can find a user by a custom field. That custom field would be your email. Now I can look you up. I can get your ManyChat ID, and then I can have another action that will go in and set a custom field, which would basically be a custom field called paid how to.
So I can add as many generic product with that invoicing platform. Is
Yep.
that true?
Yep, you can add as many as you want.
Okay.
So I would just go in and then update this value, this paid how to. I would update it to true. And then I'm actually going to update it to this guy because I don't want this guy to show up that he's paid for that actual content, because he hasn't paid for that content, because he thinks that just because he's the same person as me, he shouldn't have to pay me. So now I would go in and just basically update this value on one of these Zapier triggers. So that would be the easiest way to do it. And like I said, that for me, that isn't a self-promotion, but literally we built this. We built this as a demo piece to show skills in Stripe and Authorize.net. All right. But then starting to work with this ManyChat and seeing all the questions of how to do this, and going in and doing research and not finding any real easy solution to do this payment system, we just went in and I had my engineers modify this to work with Zapier and make it really easy to work with ManyChat, because this guy will open up in a web view inside Messenger. So to me, I would say that would definitely be the easiest to manage payment. Now there are some other options.
One more question, John. Do I have to have a Stripe account too with that, or just this only? The invoicing?
You do need a Stripe account. Now we can create a Stripe account and provide it to you, but it's just easier if you go in and create your own Stripe account and get your own Stripe account set up. Now for you, you'll have your own Stripe account because as part of our white label package for white labeling Simpossibly, we set up your Stripe account and get all that merchant account set up for you. So you can just use that one unless you really want to segregate the different payment channels, but we will set one up for you for that. So, but you do need a Stripe account, and in here you would just go in here. You would just go in. You would just go in here to create an invoice, and then you could just go to select your payment account. I've already selected one, so I need to go in and actually delete this one if I want to go in and create a new one. Here's your API key. This is the API key that you would use to authenticate Zapier. whenever it's asking you which account that you want. If you were to go and connect an account, it would ask you for an API key. It would be that API key that you just got from right there. And that would literally be the easiest way for you to accept payment and get payment. And there's a free version of this. You can use this for completely free, and it supports up to 35 payments and invoices a month. It supports up to 35 payments for free per month. And then after that, you have to upgrade. So after that, if you want to upgrade and you just don't have the money, or you're just real cheap and you don't want to pay the money, if you just shoot me a message, I'll give you access to it for free, just to give you the initial value that I need to give you to get you to say, hey, hell yeah, this guy's awesome. I'll just go ahead and pay him because he's giving me lots of value. So if that's what you need, if you need it for free, just to have it for free, then just send me a message. I'll upgrade you for free because it doesn't cost me anything to upgrade you for free. It literally.
No, how much does it cost? I want to pay you.
Yes.
How much?
So the price point, I don't really know what the price point is because I don't pay for it. But the price point is $47 a month or $97 a month. So
Okay.
I don't even know what the difference is here. So I would say if you just get on this $47 a month plan, it most likely gives you unlimited access. Because honestly, I'll just give you guys a little secret. If you guys ever buy any of my softwares, most of the time when I price out our softwares, they're just completely arbitrary priced, and most of the time, I would say 100% of the time, there's physically no difference between the $97 a month or $47 a month, except for the amount of money that you're paying on a monthly basis. So other than that, now I may tell you in the content that you'll get these features and you'll get those features, but it will not actually be regulated inside the software, because it just, from an engineering perspective, will take a bunch more time to go in and actually build in those control mechanisms than it will just to trust that people, since they see they'll get this with this and they'll only get that with that they'll just go ahead and get that. And ultimately, like I said, it doesn't cost me anything. So most of the time they're arbitrary.
Perfect.
But that would be probably the easiest. I would say using this platform would be the easiest. But keep in mind as well that if you've got a website and you're already taking payment. So for example, let's say you got a ClickFunnels site and you've got a way for a user to pay you on ClickFunnels. Let's say you use Samcart and you've got some product pages built on Samcart and you already have some products on Samcart. Hey, Sergio. Yeah, always ready, man. So you got any website. Let's say you got any website, and on that website you have some payment mechanism. For the most part, any website that is given inside Messenger will open up in a Messenger web view. If it does not open up in a Messenger web view and it opens up in a browser, there's two reasons that could happen. One, because the user just has a preference set up in their device to open everything up in a browser, and there's no way to get around that other than getting that user to update their preference. The other is because the layout of that page does not actually conform to some standards that Facebook wants it to conform to. So they open it up in the browser and not in the web view. And if you just do a little Googling, you can go in and find their documentation where they tell you exactly what tags and what components you would need to modify and change on that page to get Facebook Messenger app to automatically open up that page as a native page inside their web view application. So you could just follow that if you have control of the page. If you don't have control of the page, you can just contact that person who does control the page and ask them to update stuff. But the reason I would recommend this is because this was built specifically to serve that need, and this will easily give the data back to the bot, which essentially I'm assuming you want to send somebody through the bot to make a payment, and then you want to somehow get a notification of that back in the bot, so that now you can segment that person and say, just like I do, if you look inside here, if you look at these tags, inside these tags, somewhere inside these tags, I've got a tag called action taker. Now, what is this action taker? This means that somebody has given me money, and they've done it in the proper way where they've given me money, and then after they've given me money, they've actually went through and clicked through a flow and verified that they're an action taker, so that I can segment these, because these guys are already action takers. They've already bridged that huge gap where, you know, there's this huge gap from a person coming in and interacting with you to that person actually making their first transaction and trusting you enough to give you money that first time. I mean, it's pretty much said and done once you get over that gap, right? Once you get over that initial gap, as long as you don't fuck that client and you don't screw up the relationship with that client, most likely you'll be able to get him to convert on more and more transactions as long as you maintain that relationship. So you definitely want to segment those guys and isolate those guys and have those guys tagged that have already taken that action and have already bridged that gap, because those guys, you're going to have a lot higher ratio of getting them to convert on another offer than the guys that haven't bridged those gaps. So if you're taking this payment, you definitely, after taking that payment, you want to get some information back into your bot and tag these guys, what products that they've bought, how much spend they've had already, so that you can go in and have that useful information when you're running your campaigns. That's why I'd really recommend this, because this will give you that data integration back into your bot pretty easily, because literally it was built just for that. That's why if you look in this app here, and if you see this guy in this, if you see this guy, that wherever he was, you see that literally he's referencing whenever you create this, it was this guy right here. Whenever you create some, it was this guy down here. Sorry, you'll see. That's why this guy literally is referencing a mini chat ID. Why is he referencing a mini chat ID? Because he was built specifically for you guys using mini chat. I literally had my engineers go in and edit this specifically for you guys. So, but like I said, you can do it several ways. You're collecting it online already. You can just route somebody to that, and hopefully with that, I mean, if you use ClickFunnels has an integration that will notify you on a new sale. So you can take that ClickFunnels data, and as long as you have basically a foreign key, as long as you have a reference in both systems where you can use as a connection bridge, which email is great for that, then as soon as you get that new sale in ClickFunnels, you can look up somebody in mini chat by that email, and then you can go in and now, you know, segment them, add some tag to them. So don't be scared to send somebody outside Messenger. You're going to have to send these guys outside. It's not like you're going to replace your entire website and everything else you're doing just with some chatbot. You're not going to do that. You are still eventually going to drive these guys outside Messenger to look at a catalog, make some payment. If you can accept some payment inside the bot, yeah, great. But most of the time, you're going to drive these people outside of the bot anyways. And it's happening every day. I mean,
that was my next question, actually. What would you suggest, John? You know, the best idea where I can drive traffic from my website to Messenger, like using, I know the growth tool, ManyChat provide, those are amazing. Which one would you recommend the best? That, you know, the way we can drive traffic from outside to Messenger bot. What would be the best strategy for that?
So you're asking how to drive outside traffic into the bot, right? Not to drive bot traffic outside the bot. So keep in mind, I'll just give this disclaimer again. I'm an engineer. I'm a software engineer. I'm not a marketer. I'm not a sales guy. So I'm not the best person to answer those questions. But from my perspective, there's not one single approach. Your approach is going to be use everything, leverage everything. You run messenger ads, run ads with messenger as an objective, because those people, their call to action is to send you a message. So run those ads. When you run those ads, like literally inside this training the other day, we created a three-way, okay? We created an ad three-way, okay? So in this ad three-way,
that was with the JSON?
Yeah, and it looks like I'm actually missing one of them, or I didn't label one of them correctly, because here's a JSON, here's a comment growth tool, and there was also a ref tool, so maybe that guy is in my trash. Nope, but there was some ref tool as well So if I look at my growth tools and I go in and find those 3 ways, yep, I'm missing a 3-way ref tool. So I don't know why that guy didn't show up whenever I did my search, because there's that guy and he's still active. But the other day we did this 3-way, all right? And this 3-way was just basically a Facebook ad with Messenger as an objective, where we use the JSON growth tool for the message set inside the ad objective. On top of that, we used a comment growth tool so that any of the users, the lovely people that I really want to call assholes, but any of the people that clearly didn't follow our instructions, and you said, hey, click this send message button, I'll give you more information, and they were like, oh, screw that, I'll just comment on this post instead, because that's not what you told me to do. So that because you will have those people, and you'll find you'll have a lot of those people. I can go in and actually look at my ads, and you'll see inside my ads, I literally had an ad. I stopped running it now, but I literally had an ad. And inside that ad, it literally, there's a call to action that says more info. And literally inside the ad, it tells you to click on the ad button that says more info. But literally, 10% of the people, instead of clicking that more info button, they go to the comments and they type in more info. All right. So you want to grab those guys as well. You really still want to go in and actually grab those guys who aren't paying attention to you. And so you're going to use that comment growth tool on your JSON growth tool. And then on top of that, I created a ref growth tool. And then I just put that ref growth tool as a link inside the description of the ad, inside the ad content, so that anybody that decided, hey, I'm not going to click on the huge call to action here, I'm not going to comment on this post, I'll just click on the link inside the ad content, so that I could capture any of those different people. So you want to use those guys. If you look at the actual training course here for the 35 hours of training, you've got a nice little guy that pops up right up here. That is a growth tool. This is this bar right here. So this is awesome for a web page. If you go in and actually click this button where you can get in for free for the training session, here's another one right here with the call to action driving you to it. This is another growth tool. This would be that button right there. These are all pretty self-explanatory. This is a box. ManyChat does a great job. They even give us a preview of the box, or they show us, hey, this is a pop-up model. They give us a preview of the pop-up model, or they're like, hey, this is a page takeover, which means this is going to take over your entire page, and they give us a little preview of what that will look like. So be using these. Definitely be using these. All these growth tools are obviously great. Let's say all of these are going to be things that all of these that you're seeing right here are literally going to be things that for the most part you're putting on your existing website, or you could use this landing page. I really don't recommend using this landing page. I would recommend, if you're going to use this landing page, don't use this landing page. Create your own landing page that you can actually give some real content on, and then use this page takeover, which is the same thing as that other landing page. It's literally the exact same thing, except for this page takeover is taking over your existing landing page. So you can have that start automatically and then still have your own content landing page in the background, instead of just having something that subscribes somebody to your bot. So use that. Use all of these guys. These are guys that you're going to put on your own website. Use these other guys as well. Like I said, I don't really recommend using this landing page unless, of course, you don't have the mechanism and the means to create your own landing pages, and you don't use ClickFunnels. If you don't use ClickFunnels, you can just message me. I'll give you a link where you can get it for free. So if you don't have your own website already, if you don't have any physical way to create your own little squeeze page and landing page, well, then by all means use this one, because this is good. If you do have that way, I personally would just suggest don't use this one then go in and create your own landing page with your own content and use this on top of it, because essentially it does the same function. And then use these other guys. Just leave this beta guy here for, let's say, 3 months, because you're probably not going to see anything with him for at least 3 months. You're not going to see that capability. But when you see that capability, that will be, I'll do a whole nother training session just on talking about that guy, because that is going to be a huge game changer, because that will change a lot of stuff, especially because I'm sure that now Facebook will open up a huge possibility to us where we can literally drive somebody to this web page, have some chat where we're chatting with them, and have this chat box, this live chat box, actually be navigating the user on our website, changing their scroll position, interacting with elements, simulating button clicks, making videos play, navigating them to other links and stuff on the web page. And then at that point, we'll be able to create some really kick-ass stuff in bots. But we have to wait for that. So just leave that guy. Be using these ads, be using these Facebook comments. Every post, look, if you're going to post something on your Facebook page, might as well create this guy right here. Even you can go in and you can go to content right here. I recommend that you always do this anytime you're going to create any type of message flow. I always recommend that you start right here. You just create a new piece of content so that you can reference that time and time again. And let's just say we can create generic comment response. So now we can create this generic content response this generic comment response, so that now every single time we put some Facebook post out there, we can go in, spend 2 minutes and hook that up to a comment tool, so that anybody goes in and actually, will interact with that and leaves a comment, then you can go ahead and respond to them. So the only thing that I would recommend, if you're going to go in and do that, probably what you want to do first is you want to go in and you want to go in and just create the beginning of your flow to look something like this, where what you would do is you would have a starting step, which is going to be a conditional. You would have a starting step, which is going to be a conditional check, and you're going to look for a tag, let's say like this, commented on post. So now you have a tag commented on post. So let's just go in, and the only reason I'm going to reverse this is just to keep things visually pretty for me. So I'm just going to reverse this to isn't. So now if I see that a user is not tagged with they commented on a post, then I'll continue this flow. The first thing I'll go in and do is I'll tag this guy that they commented on post. Now I'll go in and actually deliver him his opt-in message. If not, then I'll go in and then just basically do, I could do a couple things here. For me, I'm just going to go in and do this. I'm gonna give them a useless tag, because I just want to actually exit out of this process, because they've commented on some posts, and I don't want them to receive the same generic content that you're going to get every single time you comment on my post, because I'm going to do that. Every single post that I create, I'm going to go in and I'm going to say, hey, if you comment on this post, I want to reply to you. And then if you answer that reply, I want to go in and deliver you this generic piece of content. Now, you could obviously go in every single post that you do, you could create a custom content flow that is specific to the content of that post. Now, obviously, that's a little bit more time consuming. That's probably the better approach there. If not, you could take some approach like this, so that you can just easily deploy it on every single comment, and then not have to worry about you putting out 4 posts in a week and the same user commenting on all 4 posts, and then them getting the same content over and over and getting annoyed at you. So you can do something like this. And then definitely use these guys as well. So this messenger ref link, you can easily add this in your email signature. You can create this messenger ref link that takes you into a flow of messages. You can easily add this into your email signature, so that now everybody that you're emailing gets it. You can add this into your website. So now you can deliver that to every single person, right? You can easily go in, and also if you're doing text message marketing and you're marketing to your customers through text message, you can send them this as a link as well. You can even go in and actually create these reference links to take somebody into a specific flow, and then you can go in and actually take that link and give that link to Bitly or Googly, and then create a trackable short link for that, so that now you can go in and create a trackable link and say, hey, I use this link for emails for this campaign. I use this link for emails for that campaign. I use this other link for text messages when I send out text messages, all of which will be essentially the same ref link taking users into the same flow. But since they're different short links, they give you 3 different analytical matrices so you can see which one performs the most. So definitely use that guy. And don't forget about this guy either. This guy is basically, he's basically a little code that looks just like you kind of saw there. So you saw that he looked like a little code, and he's just a little code that if you open up your Messenger app on your phone, you see a little scan code button. You just can click that scan code button and you can scan that code, and that will find somebody. Everybody has their own actual scan ID where you can find somebody, find a person like that. And Facebook has allowed us to also embed basically our payload in that guy, so you can actually scan that thing and then put somebody directly into your flow. This you can put on promotional material. So for example, what could you do with this? You could do all sorts of stuff with this. You could go and let's say you own a brick and mortar restaurant and or let's say you're that guy that you told me about. You're that guy with the food truck selling hot dogs and pizzas and stuff sitting outside somebody's work. You can take this little scan thing and you can just put it right there where people come to check out in your little truck process, and you can say, hey, scan this, I'll give you a free soda today. You know, that's $1 value, probably $1.25, depending on where I'm parked at and whether I'm a can or you know, a 20 ml bottle. So you just scan this, I'll give you a free soda today, or I'll give you probably don't even want to give you a free soda. I probably want to give you something like a free hot dog or something, because that hot dog has a much higher value and a much lower cost to me. So I'll give you a free hot dog. You buy the Coke. So I'll give you if you buy a Coke, I'll give you a free hot dog if you scan this little thing. So now you scan that little thing. Who's not going to scan that? I mean, I tell you, buy a Coke, get a free hot dog, scan the thing. You're already going to buy the damn hot dog anyways. You're just going to scan the thing. Now you can scan the thing. And in that thing, it takes you to a flow. One, you just became my subscriber. So now I know, hey, you're my subscriber. So now I know I can easily go in and make some broadcasts. And I could have a bunch of different ones of these, right? And I could have a bunch of different ones of these that I can have like a little index of, I could just have like a little binder with a little index of these guys. And whenever I'm in one area, just flip to this. Let's say I could have one per factory that I go sit out. And then whenever I'm at factory A, I can just open up that one and tell people to scan this. Whenever I'm at factory B, I just switch to factory B, have people scan this. Now inside my flow, I can tag these guys, you know, factory A, factory B, right? And then now whenever I'm going out running my routes and it's, you know, 10 minutes before I'm about to get to factory A, I could go in and run a little broadcast to everybody's tagged factory A. And I can say, guess what? 10 minutes, I'll be sitting right outside. Would you like to pre-order something so that whenever I get there, I have everything literally in hand ready to go, so your transaction takes you a fraction of the time and you can enjoy more of your break? Does the other lunch truck offer that? Probably not. So I'll get some more users to come over to me just from that convenience. Even probably they'll pay me a little more. Maybe now this food truck can introduce some residual plan where now he can get these guys to pay him some $5 or some $10 a month just for that convenience, right? Be a gold member, pre-order your stuff. Whenever you come outside, I'll get that for you where you don't have to spend any time at all in your transaction. Everything's ready to go. You don't have to wait. Now you got some more time. You can smoke an extra cigarette, or you can spend some more time, you know, with your friends or whatever. So definitely use these guys, because these guys are really, really useful. And that way you keep growing your list. So use everything at your disposal. What's at your disposal right now are all these growth tools. So use every single one of them as much and as often as you can. That's the only real advice that I could give you, because obviously that's going to be the quickest way. If you guys could just excuse me for like 30 seconds, I just got to use the bathroom real quick. So hopefully that answered your question for you. But don't take it from me. Like I said, I'm an engineer, not a uh,
No, you did. You did a lot. One question, how I can print that out, that code, the messenger code? So for example, if I want to put it in somewhere physically, is that possible? I can print it out and people can scan them from their phone. Is that
yeah.
possible?
Yeah, so you just go in. Let's say I want to replace this guy with whatever. Okay, I want to replace this guy with something good. Um, whatever. I need a bot. So I want whenever somebody go in and scan this, they're gonna say I need a bot, right? So now that guy's done. So you just come here to messenger code and look, guess what? Here you can go in and change the size that you want this, and then you can just download this image right here. And there you go. You just grab that guy right there. There he is. So now you got that image. You just put him on your flyer anywhere that you want. And yep, you got that image. And then now a user can literally just open up their device and then hit that scan code, scan this guy in, and then instantly, as soon as they scan in, they're going to be getting this message right here. And they're going to be now in
But,
this flow.
but they're gonna get into my messenger by scanning this picture. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah. Well, not well. To be clear, no, they're not going to get into your messenger by scanning this picture. If they scan this picture, they're going to get into my messenger. But if you go in and you go right in here, if you go in and you go right in here to create a new growth tool and you create a new growth tool, just like I did, and whenever you
Uh-huh.
go in and create that growth tool, you go in and you pick your opt-in message, and then you get your own little code like this, and you print this off. Then yes, they will be going. It will be your picture here. So Facebook is just going to grab whatever you have here. Facebook will just
Uh-huh.
grab that guy and stick him inside there. Or MiniChat will actually do that, but MiniChat does that because Facebook does that. So they'll just
Uh-huh.
grab that guy. And then all this little crap that you see on the outside, this is just basically Morse code that represents a packet of data. In this instance, it represents your page ID and it represents this payload that you're referencing here, which is your message flow. But yes, once you get this, you can print this guy off anywhere that you want. And as soon as a user scans this, they will literally be subscribed to your bot and they will now be right here in this flow. And you can have as many of these flows as you want, which is why I said that truck guy, he can go in and create one for every single factory and say, hey, you guys scan this, you guys scan this, you guys scan this. And now that guy who knows jack shit about marketing because he just runs a food truck, now easily with a little help, we can go in and completely segment his audience. And now we can go in and boost his sales probably by after 3-4 months. We'd probably go in and just, if we're running this, if we're maintaining this for him, we could go in and boost his sales by $500, $1,000 a day in sales just by having him go in and tell us, hey, where are you going to be at, tell us our time frames, and then before you get there, we're going to send out a promotional broadcast so that by the time you get there, you've already got a line of people lined up waiting to consume your services, and that guy will love us for that.
Whoa. That's pretty neat, man. That's awesome. Can we send a push notification on the website with that growth tool? Is that possible?
Didn't understand the question.
Um, like a push notification, the a desktop push notification and Android push notification, where you just send the message and it just pop up in your window or on your phone. Can we do that with ManyChat with the integration of some other third party services?
Well, that push notification essentially, I think what you're talking about, essentially what I think that you're talking about is like, let's say, for example, this upcoming events right here. I think essentially what you're talking about is,
Yeah,
oh,
you got it. You got it.
not that upcoming events. Let's do this give dance plan by age. So let's preview that. I think essentially what you're talking about is that notification that I just got that popped up, which is actually, it's actually showing on a different screen. So let me just change that different screen. It's actually showing on that screen because that's my main display. But I think essentially
Uh-huh.
you're talking about
Yes.
this guy right there, where if I
Yes.
hit
Exactly.
preview,
Yeah.
it just
Yes.
pops up. You'll see that guy pops up, that push notification pops up. See, he just popped up right there. Yeah,
Right. Yeah.
that happens by default whenever you get a new message, so we don't actually have to do anything really to get
Anything
that
on
to
that.
work. Correct. Now, the only place we have control of that is in our broadcasting. In our broadcasting, we could go in our broadcasting, and then in our broadcasting, we can change the type of notification somebody's actually going to get. But other than that, we don't have any control over that. But that's just something by default that will happen. But it would not happen. It would not happen. Actually, it probably would happen. I would say it would probably still happen if somebody went in through this growth tool and scanned this. They would probably still get a push notification on their desktop. They just most likely wouldn't see it because they're not, in order to scan this, obviously they can't be on their desktop. They got to do this from their mobile device. So most likely they wouldn't be anywhere around their desktop to see the push notification.
Wow.
So to answer your question real quick, Robin, it's pretty straightforward. You just go to this growth tool and you select this QR code, whatever they called that thing. I'm not sure what they called it. They called it a Facebook Messenger code. So you just select that guy. Then you go through the same process that you go for every single one of your growth tools. You just go in and create some message flow that you want to put a user in. Now, inside Facebook Messenger, whenever you actually open up the Facebook Messenger guy, somewhere inside here, so basically somewhere inside here, and what you have to do is you have to come over here to this little person right here inside your Messenger app. You got to come over here to this little person and click that little person. Whenever you click that little person, you can go in and see through all your contacts and stuff. And right here, there's a button that says scan messenger code. And if you just click that button, it opens up this guy right here, where if I go in now and scan this code, which I will do from my device, I'm just opening that conversation. And if you were to check, I just actually got a push notification, and I literally just got John Vaughn. See right there? I literally just got pushed right into that flow.
Wow.
So does that answer your question how that works? So you could do so much to go in and create one of these for every product that you have. And for every single product that you have, you could go in and have one of these QR codes, and then you could just put them out in your catalog. You can create one of these. Let's say you have a business and you have a business Facebook page, and you got 20 people that work for that business, and every one of them has a business card. Well, I could almost guarantee that if you're 90% of the businesses, the back of that business card is completely unused blank space, where you could easily go in and put one of these guys right there, and then tell somebody they can just flip over the business card and print, and just scan that out, and now be subscribed. And literally that could go in and open up a flow that says, hey, thanks for contacting this business. You're trying to get in touch with this person. Let me give you the information from their business card. Here's their email. Here's their phone number. Would you like me to pass a message on with them? Would you like me to connect with them? You could do all sorts of stuff like that. So, and yeah, you can go in and basically download this image and print it on anything you want. You can print it on a t-shirt if you want to, but that's probably going to be a hard scan. You can print it on anything that you want, digital material, anything. So as far as for PayPal, so
hey, John, please, can you please explain us the Zapier? I think I cannot integrate it. I tried, it doesn't show the option.
Yeah, sure, and I'll totally go in.
All right.
I'll totally go in and explain that to you. So I haven't done this PayPal very much, just so you know, because literally I own my own custom payment software that I had my company build, and it's just so much more robust than PayPal. But if you go to this mini chat community and you search for one of my buddies named Joshua, It's this guy right here. So this guy, if you look through his posts, you'll find, even if you go to this mustache marketer, so this guy's really good. You can see that he's got on his business, on his ID, on his business card, he's got this right here. And if you come in here, somewhere on here, he is going to have a video for you already that he's built on integrating PayPal. And I'm just going to grab that because he's already created that content for me. So there's no real need for me to go in and actually create that. I just need to go in and find that for you. And he walks you through exactly how you would set up PayPal. And like I said, I haven't done it myself because I don't use PayPal because I have my own invoicing platform that's more robust and works better. But he shows you exactly how to do that on this page. So I've watched his video a couple times, and he's pretty in depth on showing you how to actually use it.
Algo que puedo usar con su hosting actual y con su dominio actual. WordPress, ¿no?
So I'm just going to mute that guy because I don't want to hear him talk to his client about their WordPress hosting. But I'm still going to go in and answer his questions about Zapier. So you just have to keep going through here, and I'm going to do this for you and find this. Hey, looks like this right here. So it's definitely this guy. So let's check out this video via Zoom. So there you go. And yes, Robin, you will see that if you go in here and create an actual invoice, whenever you want to, hey, hold on, Josh. Did a good job there. So you'll see if you go in here, you can go in and actually pick the New Zealand dollar if you're in New Zealand. So as far as Romanian, these are all the options that you have because these options come straight from Stripe. So Romanian people can pay in their money LEU. I don't think so. Unfortunately, as soon as Stripe adds that integration, they'll be able to go in and use that integration. But still, most of their cards you can. I mean, even on a Romanian card, most of those credit cards will still, the bank will allow that transaction to come in US dollars. You just have to make the actual conversion as far as if you're charging 1,000 LEU, what should be that 1,000 LEU in US dollars and express that price there. So you can use it in any of these places. That's nothing that's I have control over. That's all done by Stripe, so that they have control over that. So so that was Sergio. Sergio, for you, what I think all you need to do is, first off, are you a pro MiniChat user? Okay, so if you're a pro MiniChat user, the first thing that you need to do is, and before you'll find anything, you need to come in here and just go through that, pick anything, and then whenever you go to choose account, you need to first connect account, and then you need to pick your MiniChat account that you're pro on that you want to actually connect. Until you do that process, you will not see Trigger Zap inside MiniChat. You need to complete this process first. So that's probably all you're missing. You just first go in and complete that process. And if you want to do that right now, then you should be able to verify that now. Once you do that connection, if you just refresh MiniChat's page, you'll see that you'll have access now to inside MiniChat to be able to do these things like trigger a zap inside these actions.
All right, I get it. I have one more little thing. Remember in the first session in the morning, you were telling me how to use this conditional tool, right? After a multiple choice. You remember I told you that I needed my users to choose an answer for the multiple choice. After that answer, I could tag them and then reply specifically according to each tag, right?
Yeah, you got that. You fix iPhones, is that right?
No.
I
found the way to do it through the quick reply way, but not through the other one. Can you please take a little time to explain that again, please?
Yeah. So So
So my multiple choice was like, which iPhone you have right now. So what am I fixing, right?
right. So yeah, let's go in and look at that again, because I believe that's in our content real recently, which was called Fast Fix, right? That's your page, Fast Fix. So we already have that content. So it was right here. So here, what we're doing here is we're going, we're asking your question, right? We're allowing, now this is a reply type of multiple choice. We're not going to allow
Right.
any free text at all, because we really want to force the user to pick one of these guys. Okay. So if they give us any free text, then this is just going to tell them, hey, I don't take free text, pick one of these options. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So now they give one of these options. We store it in a custom variable. We're storing this in a custom field called iPhone type. So if they click iPhone 4, then this iPhone type will literally hold the value iPhone 4. If they pick iPhone 6, then this field right here will be holding iPhone 6 as a value. So now, after they complete this process, we want to automatically continue and route them into our conditional sequence here, where good rule of thumb is you're either going to have for every value you want to check, you're either going to have I -1 or I conditional blocks, just depending on what you're actually wanting to do. Because the number of conditional blocks is always gives you conditional blocks +1 worth of flows, because you always have the yes and no flow. So let's say you have one conditional block, that equals 2 flows. So if you have 2 conditional blocks and you route the first guy's no into the next condition, that gives you 3 flows. It gives you this yes, it gives you this yes, and this no. So you get 3 flows. All right. So if I got 3 conditional blocks, that will allow for every one of these answers right here. So that's all I'm going to do is I'm going to check the iPhone type. This iPhone type is this custom piece of data that I'm storing this information in. When the user gives me this
So the
information,
custom field should be iPhone type that way, right?
the custom field, I'm calling it iPhone type. I could call this whatever I want, but here I'm going to call it iPhone type. So yes, I need to reference that custom field in my conditional block and check, okay, what is in iPhone type? Well, what goes in iPhone type? Only these pieces of data. I'm going to stick this save reply as this. Now I could change this literally if I wanted to. I could change this as this guy would be XXXX.
Yeah, I'm right there in my process, right?
Okay, I could change. You could change this to a product ID or something like that if you wanted to. But if you don't do that, by default, it will just default into whatever you call this guy. So whatever you call this guy, it will default there. So we're going to go in and call that guy iPhone 4. And you can add some cool little emojis and stuff if you want here. So now these data will be put into this iPhone type data. So now we're just going to run a condition based on that data, and we're going to say, hey, if iPhone type is equal to iPhone 4, we're going to tag this guy with iPhone 4, and we're going to give him this message that says I can.
Now I get it. Thanks, brother.
No problem.
All right.
And then we'll just continue that. If they gave iPhone 5, we'll tag them iPhone 5. We'll send them a message, great, I can fix iPhone 5. If they match iPhone 6, we'll tag them iPhone 6, and we'll send them a message that says, great, I can fix iPhone 6. And then we'll allow them to either fix it today or schedule a repair. And then if they didn't match that value, which basically now means they haven't matched any value, which means that they must have given us something else as a value, then we can go in and just send them a message and says, great, I can fix any iPhone, because I don't know what they actually have. They have something else. And there kind of sort of is, Robin. So there kind of sort of is, but right now the videos are really scattered because it's literally live training and we do whatever you guys want on the training session. So it's kind of a mixture of all levels that we go in. But yeah, I'm actually going to go back in and look at all this. It's like 30 hours of content that we've created already. By the time by the time we actually start the training, I would say there will be about 50 hours of content. And then by the time we're done with the training, there's going to be at least 90 hours of content. And I'll go in either myself personally, or most likely I'll grab the people that I pay to do my work for me, and I'll tell those guys to go in and actually segment things from noob to ninja level, and go in and actually create content snippets from noob to ninja and create a new index and have that entire thing. But I will tell you that it's not going to be free. I will just tell you that in the interest of transparency, it is not going to be free, but you will have access to it, and you'll be able to get it right inside the bot. Where can you join? You can join if you want to subscribe to paid content. You can do that right inside the bot. I believe that you've already signed up for this training, correct, Robin? You've already signed up for this training. So other than that, if you want to get access to all these live contents and even the replays of this training, they're only going to be they're only people who give some money are going to have access to that. So you're obviously more than welcome to give me money at any time. I won't ask for it. I won't beg for it. But if you want to give it to me, I am not going to say no. I will take it, and I will put it to a very, very good use. I promise you it will be a great investment. But you can go in and do that right inside the bot. You can go in and just ask me for pre-training replays, and then inside those, whenever you ask me for that, so it's $10 a month. If you
I just
go
sent
in,
you, John. I just signed up for $10.
thank you.
I will do it. I will also. Thanks. I mean, all this value, it's added value, like $10. I feel it's nothing right now. I can pay for it.
It is nothing at all. And this is literally inside the bot. The bot will just give you this link right here, where you can use my invoicing platform that we built and modified just to make it easy for you guys to accept payments and get notifications of those payments back into ManyChat, so you can sell stuff right inside your bot. Literally, I use this invoicing platform for my demo restaurant bot. If you go into that demo restaurant bot, and I can just show you that, if you go in to demo restaurant bot and you send this guy a message. And the very first thing that we'll do in here is say clear order, so that his order gets cleared out, because I probably got some current order going on that I've done in a previous demo. So he says right there that, hey, your entire order has been cleared. So now I can go in and do a new order just by typing in menu and telling this guy I want to see his menu. I want his drinks menu because it's been a long day and I could go for a mojito right now. But this guy doesn't sell mojitos, so I'll have to settle for a margarita. So I'm going to add a margarita to my order. That's going to be my first guy. And then let me just wait for him to actually confirm that he's given me an actual margarita and he's added that margarita to my actual order. And I got to wait for that. Now, a lot of times I can't actually control that because that's up to Facebook. So I'm just going to go in and say one more time and see if there is an issue why he didn't actually confirm that why he didn't actually add that to my order, because he should have actually added that to my order. So let me see. I can see that this guy is waiting. So I can see that, oh, that guy is not even actually the right guy. So that's a different guy that has actually been deleted. So I don't actually see where that add to order has been actually triggered. So I would need to go in and probably say that sometime earlier today, maybe probably sometime today, I actually maybe turned off this zap or something that added that to your actual order. But anyways, long story short, once this guy adds everything to his orders, what will happen is he'll just generate a custom invoice for this particular order for however much this order was that references this orders, and it's all done with that invoicing platform.
And how much you say, how much it will be the invoicing platform, John?
So it's free up to 35 invoices. And then after that, it's either $47 or $97 a month. Like I said, I could almost guarantee that what you get for these two different values is the exact same thing. The only difference is physically the amount of money that you pay me, and the perception and the perceived illusion that you must be having that hey, if I get this for 47, I must be getting something else for that. But I would say inside the software, as far as the software goes, you would have access to the exact same functionality. And like I mentioned before, if you don't want to pay this, or this is an issue for you, I've got no problem giving you this software for free if that's what you need. If you don't think that my company deserves any money at all for creating the software and you don't want to pay for it, I mean, it doesn't cost me anything to give it to you for free, and I'll do it just to create some value in your life. And plus, besides that, if I give it to you for free and then I go in and see that you did 100 invoices and you generated some 2,000, then you can't tell me no when I come and say, hey, you know what, actually, you just go ahead and pay me that $97 a month, because now you can't actually tell me no, because I can just reference and say, why won't you pay it? I can see you clearly generated $2,000 worth of sales from using my software, so might as well pay me.
Right.
Anyways, you just use it for free if you don't have the money for it, you just don't want to pay for it. So
No, you deserve to get that, man. That's definitely, it's worth a lot. Thank you again, John. I really do appreciate it. I have to jump out now. Um, I will, see to attend your next meeting. Thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Hey, and don't forget, you added us on Skype as the company perspective. Just talk to them and just get an update tomorrow about where they're at with getting everything set up for the white label and everything for you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You do the same. And yeah, Robin, you will be able to learn everything from start to pro. Even you can join all these training sessions and just interact and ask whatever you want to learn, and I'll teach you that. But yes, I'll be doing a complete after all this content is created, I'm going to go in and do a complete curation of the actual content and create a very indexable from noob to ninja training style lesson. And then I'm going to make all that available with access to another live training module like this, where you can go in and ask questions on any of that content that you've went through and took before the training sessions, or even more advanced stuff. So but yeah, you will have access for that. And there's already a lot of content inside there. Even you could go in and actually just watch the 20 hours worth of content that's in there already and be pretty close to, I would say you'd be about halfway to a ninja level. If you watched all that content, you'd be definitely well past a noob. I mean, honestly, to get past that noob thing, to get past the immediate thing is really just understanding these tools and understanding what these tools are and how to use it. Outside of understanding that, the biggest thing that you have to achieve and the biggest thing that you have to accomplish is figure out what you want your bot to do, what should be the function of your bot, and how it is going to actually help you. And only you can really tell yourself that. Now, I can clearly tell you that, but in order for me to tell you that, I need to spend a little bit of time and talk to you about your business, your goals, your ambitions, what you're doing, why you're actually doing it. And then once I do that, then I can easily go in and begin to tell you the same things you could figure out on your own, what your bot could be doing, what your bot should be doing, and then actually start planning out the actual flows. So the first thing that you need to do is learn the basics of the tool, and once you plan out your flow, how you would actually create it. And that you will actually learn. I would need to do what Dennis suggested earlier and create this index, but one of these videos, one of the guys literally asked me for just that. He asked me to go through every single thing here and tell him what every single thing was. So one of the training sessions is like 45 minutes of me going through and saying, this is your dashboard. This is everything on your dashboard. This is what you can do. This is your audience tab. This is every single thing on your audience tab and what you can do. This is your live chat tab, and here's every single thing that you can do. This is your growth tools. Here's every single growth tool, how they work. This is broadcasting. This is everything about it. And literally, we just went through that. This is auto posting, what it is, blah, blah, blah. We just went through all of that. So one of those trading sessions already shows you every single thing you need to do. Now, which one is it? I couldn't tell you that right now because I've done so many of them that I don't even know I couldn't even tell you everything that was done on the last training session because I've just done so many of them. So I won't be able to tell you that until I go back over the content and curate it, or until I ask one of my employees to do it for me. Then I could tell you. So until then, you could just go in and maybe watch all of them, which is a lot to ask because there's a lot of them, but I don't know. And so to answer your question, Adrian, in the demo bot, I add an item in the cart, but how can I pay? So, and that, so first off, I need to go in and actually check this bot and find out what this bot is actually doing. And I'm pretty sure that it's not this bot, it's this add to order. That's what's happening. See, that's why nothing's being added, is because this add to order is off. Now, I'm going to turn him on, but when I turn him on, I need to go in and look at him because I'm assuming the reason that he got turned off is because I made some major change. Oh, and I did make some major change on one of these videos earlier. Actually, I believe Dennis was asking me about how to do some product recommendations based on things that have ordered. So I was going in and experimenting and showing other data structures that we could actually use. So Zapier turned this guy off. So now I could come in and do this. And now I can physically show you how you can pay. I can go in and buy that drink that I could buy that drink that I've been long overdue for. So not the dry martini because I don't like that. I could go in and buy this margarita that I've been long overdue for. And then I can see that a margarita has been added to my order. And now I'll get another piece of content that will either prompt me to check out or prompt me to add more items. So I can go in and say, hey, I want to go ahead and check out. And it'll say, sure, how do you want to check out? Here's your order. You've ordered a margarita so far. Your total $7. Are you still ready to check out, or do you want to order more? Sure, I'm ready to check out. No big deal. Do you want to pay online, or do you want to pay cash on delivery? So if you want to pay cash on delivery, thanks a lot. The mojitos are so great. I need to add that into the demo bot, because what type of a demo bot would have a drinks menu with no mojitos? But so you want to do cash on delivery? Well, if you're doing cash on delivery, you don't have to collect any payment because you're literally doing cash on delivery. So whenever you deliver the stuff, they'll be giving you the cash. So that's how you accept the payment. If you want to do online, however, then you just go ahead and click you want to do online. And then I'm pretty sure that this guy will then go in and say, okay, here's, and he didn't do that. So he didn't do that. And the reason that he didn't do that is also because most likely it's because I actually had my developers working on this. So I need to go in and actually change something. So it looks like, oh, this is check other bot, not checkout. So I need to actually go to checkout. So it's this guy right here. So it looks like maybe that's that guy. So definitely can't be that guy, because if it's that guy, he's totally missing a complete payment module. So let's check this guy right here. And let's look at a keyword, and let's look out at checkout flow, and let's just see what Zap's being triggered whenever this guy wants to pay online. So I can see that somewhere on here, this guy wants to pay online. So I'm going to trigger pay online for order. So let's see if I followed my own best practices and if I got some guy in here that says pay online for order. Sure don't. guys. Here we go. I've got a pay online for order right here. So he's just filed away in another folder. So thankfully I did that. And now let's just see what's actually going on here. And let's go back over here and look and see on my task history and see if that task executed pay online for order. Let's see what actually happened here. Storage and Zapier hit an error. Too many request exceptions when calling the invoke reach match retries. So the reason that guy didn't fire is because Zap didn't actually fire. So let's just delete that guy there. And then try that again with checkout. And yes, all this is built just on ManyChat. So I am ready to check out. This entire bot is all, as you can see, I'm showing you the ManyChat dashboard for this bot. So definitely all built on ManyChat. So let's try this guy again, and then let's see if Zapier is going to. There we go. Now Zapier, you can look. Zapier gave me back a custom invoice for this guy that is for $7 for a margarita. See, it's for $7. So I can come back over here and I can say menu again. And then what goes good with beer? Maybe some chicken wings will go good. And I'm not getting beer, I'm getting a margarita. So let's get some chicken wings, some hot wings, because those are pretty good. So let's get some hot wings. Let's add those to our order. Let's wait and see. We get some confirmation. We've got some confirmation. So now we can go ahead and check out. And now he'll ask us the same thing. Here's our updated total, $15. Here's our updated order. I am ready to check out. And then I'll go ahead and pay online as well for this guy. And hopefully this guy will give me back a new invoice, which he just did. And I can see this invoice now is for $15 and it's for a margarita. It's for a margarita and hot wings, and I can go in and just pay for this order. And then once this is paid, if I want to, I can create some Zapier integration to take once this guy is actually paid. I could go in and add the guy's ManyChat ID, which is already there in the invoice, and I can create some Zapier integration where I can listen to this invoice being paid, and then once it's actually paid up, I can, since I have this guy's ManyChat ID, I can push some data back out through ManyChat and say, hey, this guy paid for his order and that order status is paid. I could maybe update some Excel sheet or something where I'm storing all those actual orders and update that order's already been prepaid online. So that you can definitely do. And I'll answer this question in just a second, Robin. So I answered that question, how you can pay Adrian. So hopefully that is clear. And this invoicing app has a Zapier integration. It does not have a public API, but if it needed to have a public API, I literally have 30 software engineers that I basically own. I mean, I don't physically own them, but I own them for a certain time of day, for 9 hours a day minimum. I own them, and they're good for 14. If I really want to tell them, hey, look, you just got to stay for another 7 hours, they'll just do it for me, because they love me so much, because we have a very family-like atmosphere in our company. So if we needed an API, I can build one out relatively quickly, but we already have the Zapier integration, and that works wonders. So to answer your question, Robin, I need to build a new flow to sell my products. Do you have an existing flow? So no, not really, because that's going to be a really generic, really relative thing to you and your products and what your process is to actually sell those products and how you want to do that. So essentially, if you wanted to give more information about what your products are and what the typical customer journey is, right? Like I said, just keep in mind, guys, I'm an engineer. I've got 2 degrees in engineering, 1 in information technology, and 1 in high-level mathematics. So customer journeys, marketing stuff, that's not really my expertise. But I listen to enough of those guys to know what they're talking about. So we'd have to figure out what the typical customer journey is to purchase that product and map that out in a flow, and then just go in and build those flows. But they would be pretty straightforward. So what you should expect from our training is to learn how to build everything and learn how to use the tool set. If you engage enough, can we go in and actually create those flows for you? Hell yeah, we can do those. We we can do those for you, no problem. But a lot of that's going to end up being your custom flow. So I'm not sure if I actually understand this. So not understanding if you're saying this, but essentially this demo restaurant bot is selling his products just by this demo restaurant box is selling his products just by going in and allowing somebody to see the actual menu and then add those items to their cart. And then also this demo bot is selling his product just by going in and checking to see if somebody's paid for it, and then pushing them out a card with some information about the product and a link to purchase the product. So did that answer your question? Great. So I do not have a demo flow for a gym whatsoever, but I have no problem whatsoever going in and creating those guys whatsoever. So I have no problem whatsoever creating those. I actually have a lot of other demos as well that aren't even actually created yet because I haven't had the time to do those. And honestly, part of what I'm hoping to accomplish in the training session is to go in and pair a couple of you guys. Let's say pair you, Dennis, you want a demo gym bot, to pair you with one of my engineers, have you work with my engineers, have them create that actual demo based on the fact that you have an assumption of what needs to be there in a demo gym bot, and you could verbally explain to them, what needs, correct, what a flow diagram, what needs, what problems, what things does this bot need to be able to do, and then they'll go in and actually create it for me. And have all that created so that we can reference it into the future. And then they'll be able to basically, the value that you'll get from that is they'll build that demo bot for me, and then we can transfer all the content over. For that, you'll just need to make me admin of your page for a temporary amount of time, long enough for us to go in and clone the bot, and then you can kick me off if you want to. But you need to do it long enough just so we can clone the bot over, and then we can clone that template over so that you can have it, since essentially it was your brainchild that you created directly with my engineer. That does wonders for me. That creates a lot of value with me because it still gives us those demo bots that we can show to other people when they want to see them. And then the most important thing is it gives my engineers some one-on-one communication time with a native English speaker that really, really helps them, and it really boosts them in their career, and it really helps them in their day-to-day basis, talking to another native English speaker outside of their direct boss. That interaction really opens up their communication gateways, because they're really, I notice it all the time in my engineers, some of my engineers that haven't got to speak to Westerners all the time because they're not directly in charge of interfacing with clients that we have. Whenever they do end up talking to somebody else, they freak out because it's not me and they're already comfortable with me. So it really will do a great value to me by giving them that experience where typically they're not going to get that. So win-win for everybody. So what else? other things that you guys could be wanting to see or learn or talk about while we're here? I mean, I see 14 of you there. And why you guys are here, by the way, why you guys are here, if I can get you just to do me one favor, if I could get you just to...
I have a question, my friend.
Yes, please ask it.
All right. So imagine I have already a customer already. I know what he wants to buy, or in my case, a repair from my shop, right? So after I know which kind of model they are willing to repair, how can I collect that data, like email, names, and information for me to store that data into a spreadsheet or an Excel file, so I can have that data stored for future use?
Yeah, so that's pretty
Well,
straightforward. That's pretty straightforward to do. If you guys could just do me a huge favor and just click this link that I put in the chat, that just kind of helps me keep track of what training sessions you guys actually attended. So nothing will happen other than you'll just get a message that says, thanks for attending the training session. And then I'll do a little bit of accounting and segmentation on my side so that I know how many of these training sessions certain people actually attended. But to answer your question, that's going to be really straightforward. So let's say if this was your current flow that we have already for you already, right?
yeah,
We already got
I did the same
iPhone.
thing. Yep.
So now what I want to do is I want to create this new little block here, all right? And I'll create this new little guy. Now I like to keep everything a little bit more tighter organized. So if this was actually going to end up being a real flow, then I would go in here and really start organizing this guy so that he's nice and tight, nice and neat, where I can easily see him, see the entire layout, and kind of reorganize a little bit for it to be a little cleaner and crisper. But I'll go in and do this. Another thing that you guys, I want you guys to know that you can do is on any of these guys, you can go in and here, and you can actually change this to make this meaningful. So I do it all the time. I call these exit flows whenever I want them to exit. Or for this example, I can call this gather customer info, right? Because that's what I'm actually going to do here. Okay. So now I'll just spell it correct. Now what's going to happen is you will see, I'll quickly just go in here to all these guys. And after this, I'll just quickly continue this guy down here to this. After this, I'll quickly continue this guy down here to this, because I've already tagged them. I've already got all this information. Now that I've got this information, I do see that I just got a notification from myself that we have a meeting and for a live demo with myself. So this is also a function of the bot that it can do, is it can send you reminders about an appointment that you have scheduled, and it can send that person a reminder. So now all these guys, right, all these guys I've already collected, I've already tagged them, I already know exactly what they want fixed. So I'm going to route them down to this guy here, right? Because for all these guys, I need to go in and actually collect this information to be able to process their order. So every one of these guys, after I collect it, I'm going to drop them right down in here, which down here ended up being gather customer information. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to gather the customer information here. So here I'll literally just, great. So let's go in, add a little delay here because I don't want to come off that I'm a crazy robot. I want a little personal touch here. So I want to get this guy's email address. So I'll just put that into an email field. Right. So I want to get that and say, please give me the best email you can receive emails at. So I have that route that I could do, okay? So I could do that. I could also go in and do something a little bit more complex, but probably more user-friendly, where I could go in and basically take this guy right here and grab this guy and put him over here as a question for user input, and basically do the exact same thing. Say I want to get an email, there'll be no skip button, because if you want me to fix this, I need to have this information from you. If you don't want to give it to me, then you really don't want me to fix your thing. So now I'll go in and do that. And then I'll go in and just take this guy and remove him from here because he's no longer needed there because I have him over there. I wanted to have this delay, so I'll make sure that this delay is at the beginning of this particular flow. And then now from this guy, I'll continue automatically and route into this condition right here. And in this condition, I'll just check this guy's email to see if he's given me his email or not. So if this guy is unknown, then I'll route him here. If he's not unknown, that means he's the opposite of has any value, which if he has any value, I know that he's given me a validated email address, because I know every time that I ask him for an email address, I go in and tell it that it's an email address, and I force him to give me an email address. So I know it must be, I know that if the value is unknown, he's never given me an email address. If it's not unknown, meaning that this no condition evaluates to true, that will do this, I know that I currently have this guy's email address. So now I can just skip asking him for an email because I already have it, because you don't want to ask your people for data if they've already given it to them. You don't want to ask them for that same data over and over because they'll get real annoyed. So now I can come in here and ask this guy for more user input. What else you need? Their phone number. You don't need to ask them for their name because you already got their name, buddy, because Facebook's giving them that. So you already got their
address.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can now go in and ask him for a phone number. Just so you know that your phone number needs to actually be a text field. I don't know why, but it needs to be a text field. If you try to make it a number field, it's not going to work. So it needs to be a text field. So now I want to go in and get their address. Now, so with the address, you have a couple ways that you can do it. So you can either go in and ask them for their address and have them give you their entire address as just one piece of text. But like, let's say in the U.S., if I was doing that in the U.S., that's not going to work very well, because most of the places I'm going to put that address to, they're going to want that address separated into subfields. They're going to want the street address, the zip code, the city, the state. So I'm probably going to go in and ask individual questions to collect his address. So I'll probably go in and first have some text that will say, if this guy's a U.S. customer, I'll go in and say, thanks. I also need your address. What's your street address? Now, I don't want these guys to screw up here, so I'm just going to give them an example, 2789 North Newman Road. That's their street address. Okay, and then I'll ask them another question. What city is that in? And I probably needed to figure out what their state was. So now I went in and asked them, I've told them, hey, I need to get your address. So to do that, I've got 4 different values, because typically I'm going to have that address broken up in the US as 4 different values. So wherever you're at, you're probably going to have addresses that are broken up. An address is one piece of data that would literally contain subsets of data that you reference all the time: street address, postal code, PIN code, city, state, stuff like that, or city, province, stuff like that. So if you want to break those down so that you could literally have like a shipping address and you could pop that into some API to create a label, well, they're going to ask you for the address broken down into different fields. So you need to collect it from your user in separate fields. If you want to collect it as one big field of text, then you need to go in and write some regex to go in and actually do that. So you need to introduce some actual code concepts, and you probably is just easier to not introduce those coding concepts and just tell these guys to give you those individual pieces of data. So now we've pretty much done that. We went in there and got all these different pieces of data, and we're storing them And well, I mean, right now we're not storing them. So we need to go in and actually store them and create the fields to store these guys in. Now we create the fields to store these guys in. So now we can easily collect that data and we can easily reference them.
So in custom field, I'll find that person's address, right?
Correct. You could literally now come back in here, okay, and you could create a thing that says, thanks, I'll process your order, I'll send an update to, and then come in here and reference this email that he gave you just a little bit ago.
Yeah.
I'll call you at, and then come in here and get that phone number that he gave you a little bit ago.
I didn't know you could do that. That email thing becomes, it takes the data from the email I have already stored, right?
Correct. From his custom field. You think that custom field is this, so here's how you can easily understand this. So you can easily understand this, that you can understand that, let's go to Google Sheets. Thanks for making me do that. You can understand that you've got some ManyChat ID. Now these guys all have a name. Okay. These guys have some data that's provided by Facebook automatically, gender, locale, language, blah, blah, blah. But these guys also have custom fields that I define. For example, in my case, I've got email. We just did phone number. Some of these other fields in here that we had, let's see, we've got somewhere over here. Let's just go to one of these questions over here and look at some of these fields that we have. We've got bot budget. Okay. So in my case, we've got bot budget here. So now you can think that this is our subscriber. This is sub 1. This is sub 2, et cetera, et cetera. Every one of our subscribers now has access to all these pieces of data. Now, sub 1 may have some 1,000 in here. Sub 2 may have some 5,000 in here. Okay. Sub 1 goes through order process and he says, this is sub 1 at gmail.com, because in this process right here, whenever you ask him for his email address, you stuck his response, whatever data he gave you, you stuck it into this email custom field, which essentially would be this email custom field. So now when you're referencing sub 1 and you reference sub 1's email, you get that content, versus whenever you're referencing sub 2 and you reference sub 2's email, you get that content. It just allows you to store custom content for each of these, like a little custom variable.
Nice.
Hey, quick question on that note: is the only way to get the information from the from that sheet, or is it available in ManyChat as well?
It's available in ManyChat as well, just like you see right here. I'm referencing it back. So right here, I'm referencing that data back to him. I'm just pulling it right back up in here. If you were to look over here in another piece of content, which is some birthday wishes content, here in this content, literally, I'm sending this guy out a birthday card. We did this on our last or the one before that. He's going to get a birthday card. His name's going to be injected in here. His first name will be injected in here, and his actual age is going to be injected in here, and that age is a custom field. So we're referencing this right inside ManyChat. Now, anybody I send this card to will get happy birthday, whatever their name is. Wanted to wish you the best birthday, whatever their first name is. We're celebrating whatever the age value is, 31 years of awesomeness or 13 years of awesomeness, or whatever data stuck inside that particular value. Because as you can see in that instance, I've got age, and every single person is going to have their own age value. So whenever I'm sending out this piece of content right here, this piece of content is essentially going to be sent to one of these guys right here, one of these users, and every one of these guys, if I look in this little column, will have their own little value here that I can reference and I can inject right in here. But if you save them externally, they're accessible to you outside of ManyChat. If you don't push them out somehow, they're only going to be accessible inside a mini chat by referencing that value right in here. But if you want to push the data outside of mini chat, you can push it outside of mini chat.
And then you can take that list, that age, and make segmented promotions on that kind of values you have stored, right?
Yeah, I can come in here and I can go in and say, hey, I want to filter by age is less than 30. And I can see I've got, for some reason, I got nobody whose age is less than 30. So I can tell you why. It's just because if I were to go in and look and say, I could go in and say anybody's age is greater than equal to 0, and I probably only get one person that I've actually went through and put a condition in for their age because I haven't been filling this out. But if I had been filling this out, like I said, I could go in and look and say, hey, I want to actually filter by, let's see how many people I have recorded so far that have, let's say, paid me for some content inside my bot. So I could go in and look and see somewhere down here, I could look in here and say if this is true, or I can change this. I can look and see how many people do I not have recorded that have paid me, and I can see that I have this many people that I have not. So then I could also go in and say, what about the people is just unknown, that I haven't stored anything, and I can see I have a lot more people even there that are unknown, and I don't even know how. Oh, that's because I'm still referencing some of those. It looks like I'm still referencing some of those people who I've forced and ejected, kicked out of my bot. So yeah, we can go in now and we can filter by any of those custom fields that we want. We can go in and look at any custom field. Let's say, for example, bot budget value. I can go in and say anybody has a greater than or equal to value of $500, right? So now I can see that I need to talk to this guy right here, possibly because his budget value is 500. Not that I don't have other people in there, because I could probably go in and look and see if I go in and look and say, hey, let's just look and see how many people actually have a bot budget. So, or actually, I need to go in and look and see how many people are tagged with bot budget, has bot budget. So I can see 13 people are tagged and that have a bot budget. And I know that a lot of these people, whenever I was getting this value, this guy has a $50 budget, which is not a great budget. But you can still work with that essentially, because maybe you could get this guy to provide you a bunch of value in the form of services or in the form of free promotion that will, refer 3 clients to me that each have $1,000 budget, because then that $50 budget means something to me, because I just turned it in from $50 to $3,050, because I'm going to ask you to refer your clients and send me three guys with a 1K budget. And once I get those 3 guys, I'll make that happen for you at your $50 budget. And if this guy's a business owner, he's probably over there rubbing elbows with other business owners who, have some money, and he probably knows exactly who those guys are. Probably plays golf with them or drinks with them or something, has mojitos with them. And I know a lot of these guys, whenever I put in their actual budget, I didn't actually have this being, if you see that the bot budget goes into a text field, and it's actually a different value. The first one was bot budget value because that's a number field. This field is a text field, and I just switched it up because you can't run conditional logic greater than, equal to, less than. You can't run that type of conditional logic on a text field. You can only run string conditions like contains, doesn't contain, is equal to, stuff like that. But yeah, you can go in once you fill this data in. Once essentially you fill data into these little guys here, you can go in and segment and filter by that pretty easily. And to answer your question, Eric, at any time you can just unmute your mic. And obviously, if you do it while people are talking, they'll probably consider that rude. I personally don't care, because I don't really I'm not really bound to society in those ways. And if you interrupt somebody, then I would probably just find amusement from that. But other people would probably think it was rude. But anytime you want to ask a question, you can put it in the box. You can raise your hand, or you can just unmute your mic and ask your question. So anytime you want, buddy.
I have a question.
Sure.
What do JSONs work for? What are they? I haven't tried them yet.
JSON. So JSON just stands for JavaScript object notation, and they only work for one thing and one thing only. If you want to create an ad and you want to create an ad as Messenger as an objective, then whenever you create this ad, let's say we're just going to use some saved audience, and we're going to use business owners as a saved audience. And then we're going to say, we're just going to skip through this, and we're just going to say, hey, you can only run this ad for 2 days to satisfy what Facebook wants us to actually do, because they want a minimum of $10. And I'm not going to reach a lot of people here, but no big deal. I'm not going to change any of that because I'm not actually going to run this ad. So now here, if you go to set up messages, then whenever you go to set up messages, here you have some JSON, and then that's what you'll use the JSON for. You'll grab that JSON and you'll put that inside there. So you'll just go in and you'll go to a growth tool. You'll select some JSON growth tool, which I'm pretty sure this is a JSON growth tool right here. So this says you need to have at least one button. So let's just leave that JSON growth tool because we don't care about that one. And let's find, oh, here's one right there, that 3-way JSON growth tool. So there's some JSON right there. So we would just copy that JSON. That JSON, what is that JSON? That JSON is pretty much this first step literally represented as a programming object. So this data right here represented as code, that's what that JSON is. So we just grab that guy, we copy that guy, and we come back over here to the ad and we just paste that into our ad. Now we can preview that in Messenger. There goes that ad right there. See, there's that JSON content right there, which was this guy right here, that first content right there. I just got that first content right there. Now if I click tell me everything, then whenever I click tell me everything, then that guy went to that next guy right there, which I believe I routed you to an existing flow right there. So if I look at that existing flow, I can see that now you must have got this first message from that flow, right? Which is essentially what you actually got there. You got that first message from that flow with those different options. So that's what that JSON is for. That JSON is for only whenever you're going into Facebook, and whenever you're in Facebook, you're creating ads, and you're creating ads that have Messenger as a destination for your ad. Then inside that, whenever you actually set up your messages, you can go in and just provide Facebook the JSON that represents your messages that you want to send out through your advertisement.
So you basically are linking your chatbot to a Messenger ad.
Correct. It's an ad that has Messenger as an ad objective. So you can go in and see what that looks like. So what that looks like, if you go into your ads manager, let's leave this page. I don't have one that's currently running probably because I just make them during these demos because I don't do any advertising. So I would say that somewhere in here, I have created one before, and oh, here we go, message replies. Here's one right here. And what these actually look like.
In between you doing this, if I have an ad and I target it into my Messenger platform, and I have not configured a JSON, it'll work the same, right? I mean, if they jump into my page and I have a bot configured there, or it won't work at all.
Well, if you don't configure a JSON, so if we come in here and we do this process again, all right, So if we come in here and we just do this process again, this is where we left off before creating this ad. So let's just continue there. So if we come in here and do this process, we have to do this step right here. We have to. It's imperative. Facebook will not let us continue to publish our ad if we don't do this step. So we can either go through Facebook's little whizzy whiz to go in and actually create your message, my message, right? Whatever this is, something goes somewhere. Don't even know where this goes, but it goes somewhere. This suggested replies or buttons. So Facebook lets me kind of build. Now, if you see, this is one. Now, guys, I don't get money from ManyChat. I'm not affiliated with them in any way other than the fact that I use their software. One of the reasons that I love these guys so much is if you look at the way that they allow us to create a message versus, I mean, this is Facebook's own platform, and look at the way that they allow us to create a message versus ManyChat. ManyChat has created something much more intuitive and much more easy to use than what Facebook themselves has actually given us as a tool. But Facebook will allow us to go in and essentially build this thing out, right? And create essentially what we're giving to Facebook. Right. So now I can go in and basically, now the only issue here is that through Facebook, we can't easily deliver our next opt-in payload. That's going to be really hard to deliver our next opt-in payload. So, so if we set this up, it will work and the user is going to get this message, but we might as well just skip this and use the JSON and go with the actual JSON and use our JSON because ManyChat will give us that. So, so we got to use one or the other. We either got to use this here or we got to use this JSON that Facebook that we're getting from ManyChat. So we might as well use this because it's just easier to use and it's more robust. But if you guys could give me like 30 seconds real quick. Thank you for that. So I think that answers those questions. So what else? Any other question? Oh, so I see this right here. This question: how will this work? So if you go in and take advantage of this offer, how this will work is one of two ways. So either you're not going to invite me as a marketer to your account, and then what will happen is we'll consume the ad spend with one of these ref URLs. So thank you for that. Could you just put that in the refrigerator is where I need that? Because I got a little bit right here. Thank you. So we'll go in and actually create the ad spend, and I will run the ads from one of my Facebook pages with your messenger link inside of it. So with your actual ref tool that will, whenever any user clicks on that link, that will be the call to action is going to be that website. We're going to send people to a website as the objective, and anybody who clicks on that call to action is just going to open up your bot and be then put into your bot. So it's either going to work that way, or you're either going to go in with me, or you're going to go in with this guy who is doing the, wherever he's at, this guy who's doing the Facebook advertising. You'll either add either me or this guy to your account temporarily as a marketer, and then we'll go in and set up the ads for you and do all the ads directly from your own page. So it's just more of what your preference is. If you want to go in and add us as an advertiser so that we can go in to through your page and run the ads directly from your page, we'll do it that way with whatever objective that you want. Or it will be ran, the ads will be ran from one of my pages, and they'll have an actual link just like this to your bot. And then this guy right here, the whole call to action will be website traffic. So as soon as somebody clicks this guy, they will do exactly what just happened there. They will click that guy, and then they will get this message right here that will pop up in Messenger. And your bot, obviously, all driven to your bot. So we could create this guy, Dolly, for you, a demo bot for a direct seller. But like I said, lots of times I'm an engineer, not a marketer or anything, and I would actually need you to first make a definition of a direct seller for me, what a direct seller is. And once I had this definition, we need to talk a little bit as far as what this bot for this direct seller, what it would actually do, what it would accomplish, what functions it would do, what pain points would it actually alleviate for that direct seller. Once we compile that information, then we can go in and create that demo bot relatively simple and easily. So the only limiter there is just going to be time to do it. So you would probably be the ideal candidate to provide that information, since you're the one that wants to see the demo bot. You probably know what a direct seller is, and so Colin, I need you to are you talking about the one-on-one training that you got with the offer? Are you talking about that one-on-one training? Or are you just talking about training in general? Okay. So that training, you just message me. And then we'll work out a time. As you can imagine, I'm just an engineer. I don't have anything sophisticated to go in and book a time. I just go in and I will just pretty much know whether or not I have something in that time or not. So just send me a message and we can go in and set up that one-on-one training for you. So how much does it cost to make a demo bot? That depends relatively. So this restaurant bot, I've got maybe 6-7 hours invested in that. So if you were to pay me personally, that would have cost you, let's say, $700. If you would have paid one of my engineers, that would have cost, let's say, between $60 to $350 to $350. So depends on what level of resource that you actually need. And for the bot building, a fresher level resource, you don't need a senior engineer to build these bots from ManyChat. One of these freshers that I hire right out of college, they can do the trick just fine. So doesn't actually cost a lot to build out the bots. Most of the demo bots I'd probably just even go in and make for free, just to be able to answer that question as a yes. The next time somebody says, hey, I'd love to see a demo bot for a direct seller, at that point I'd already know what a direct seller is, and then I'd already be able to say, hey, I already got a direct seller bot that you could go in and see. But not a lot, especially if you use my fresher resources. Doesn't cost a lot. So what else? Maybe Eric, this would be a good time just for you to drop in your thing, or maybe it would be a good time just for you to unmute yourself and go ahead and ask that question, because if you don't do that, then other people are probably just going to keep asking questions, and then your question will never be asked. So you might as well just unmute that mic and go ahead and ask it now. That would be a great time. And if you could make it a 3-minute question, because then I could smoke this cigarette while you're asking that 3-minute question. Or not, Eric, but right now is that great time. Eric, it is the great time, perfect time right now for you to go in and ask questions, Eric. So go ahead and do that right now, buddy. I'll just sit and do nothing. I'll just smoke the cigarette until you guys either put more questions in the box or physically ask me a question with your voice.
Do you charge the price of the bots you make based on how much time you spend to develop them, or you have any other ways to target or to have a pricing for them?
So I will always recommend that you price your services based on the value that you provide and the ability to pay of your client. So I may charge you $700 to build the same bot that I'm going to charge somebody else $300 for, that I'm going to charge somebody else $5,000 for. What's the delimiting factor? Well, one, I know the cost to actually create that bot, and two, I have an assumption of how much money you have and are able to actually pay. Buddy, if I think that you're able to pay $5,000 for something somebody else is only able to pay $700 for, I'm going to get that $5,000 from you. That's what I'm going to try to get from you, because that's what you're willing and able to pay. It's not, I mean, you got to price with your value, but at the same time with your value. So you're delivering some value, right? Now, obviously, you always want to deliver more value than the cost that you're actually consuming, but you want to get the highest amount that you can always get from your potential clients. So you got to price your services based on the value that you're providing as one factor. But even if you price it, let's say my thing has a $10,000 value, right? So I'm gonna price that thing at $5,000 because now I'm giving you a huge offer, right? Now you're getting twice the value for your cost. You don't have $5,000 to pay, you're never going to be able to pay if you don't have that money, because it's not just going to manufacture in your pocket the more that you think about it, right? But let's say you got $1,000 and the thing only cost me $500 to create the thing that I'm saying has $10,000 worth of value that I'm trying to sell to one dude for $5,000. If you don't have the $5,000, if all you have is 1,000, and I can evaluate that, hey, I got a cost of 500, I'm going to still make a profit, then I'm going to price myself different to that guy, because I want to price myself within his reach. Because if I price myself outside his reach, no matter how bad he wants to buy my thing, he can't buy it because he don't have the money. So I got to price myself really differently for each client, because if I have some standard price, then I'm leaving money on the table all the time. So, but like I said, man, I'm an engineer. I can't give you the best. I can't really give you the best advice for that. But yeah, whenever I price things out, the base point that I start with is a function of the time expenditure and the effort estimation that is going to go in and produce said services or produce said thing. Now, once I come up with that estimation, that I can come up with a base, then I'm going to look at some other variables. First off, how much do I like you? Are you an asshole? If you're an asshole, you have to pay more money. Do I like you? Are you pleasant to talk to? Whenever we have interactions, do I get some value from there where you're, yeah, see you, Dennis. Thanks for coming, man. Do I get some value from there? If so, then I can give you a break, because I get some added benefit from interacting with you, right? So I'm going to look at those things. What other value are you going to give me? Do you have a huge network of other business owners that I can say, hey, look, instead of giving me 5K, give me 2K, but introduce me to 7 other guys that have a 5K budget. So obviously, if I can get another $35,000 from your contacts, shit, I'll build your thing for free, man, or at least for really low value. I'll at least take my price point really close down to my cost, if I believe that I can get some conversion.
Right. I ask you this because I think on my country, there's no many people with the expertise to build a great bot. So I didn't know how to charge on. I'm not a pro yet, but within the knowledge I have right now, at the moment, I think I could easily start charging for maybe little simple things. I mean, with all the content that you've already shown us, there's many more value on it, and I could definitely charge a lot more. But yeah, you know what? When I talked to a customer like 2 days ago, he told me, what's the difference between your chatbots and the AI chatbots you can find around internet and other kind of technologies? And I find that our chatbots are pretty complete. In your opinion, as you're an engineer, what would be the main difference between them and our system? Is it all the tags and subscriber sequences?
Me. That's the main difference. Me. So all these, I mean, I'm assuming that they're talking about what's the difference between your bot and the bot that I can build myself in MiniChat. That's literally what they're asking you. What's the difference between the bot that you're going to build me and me building my own bot on ChatFuel, me building my own bot in MiniChat? What? And I'll tell you the straight difference there. What's the difference? Me, a genius guy. That's the difference. The difference is you're going to be building your own bot on that platform versus having some genius guy like me come in and build that bot for you. So I'm an expert at this. This is what I do. I got a whole company that's great at doing this, or whatever your intro is about yourself and how you talk about yourself and your service. But that's your main delimiting factor. What is the difference between the bot that you're going to build on MiniChat for somebody and the bot that they're going to build themselves? Only you and the value that you bring to the table, right?
No, I mean, there's some bots that have AI, artificial intelligence, on them, and they are sold by lots of money. I was asking about that mainly. What's the difference between the chatbots we can make ourselves on ManyChat and that kind of bots? Is it all these subscriber sequences we can make and the tags around the products we kind of like sell or services? You know what I'm meaning right now?
Well, so if they're talking about that, if they're talking about what's the difference between these bots that we can build on MiniChat versus these AI bots, well, that's a completely custom integration. So what's the difference on that? $250,000, $500,000. That's what the difference in that is. Because if you want to get a bot that has true AI, trust me, if you want a bot that has AI in it, literally now our bots to some extent have some AI in it. They have a very rudimentary AI. But if you want a complex AI, if you want a real AI, so we have pseudo AI. A real AI is able to actually exhibit intelligence, which is learning, right? So our bots don't have that in MiniChat. We have a pseudo AI where we can give a perception that we have some intelligence, but we don't have true artificial intelligence because we don't have a self-teaching mechanism. We don't have a mechanism for our bot to automatically go in and learn things. So the big difference is going to be complexity and literally money and time to actually produce. So and really for those real complex bots, there isn't a huge need for those most of the time. So, but I mean, ultimately the huge complexity is going to be NLP, natural language processing, which is pretty essential to have enterprise level bot. The AI itself, the real true AI, and then the time to produce the thing and the price tag of it. I mean, these things that I showed you, like let's say just one of the things, that thing that I showed you for you, right? That little flow that I built for you, we spent some 10, 15 minutes building that flow. If I was building a custom bot for a client, that thing itself would have probably taken 15 hours worth of dev time to create that thing in custom code. So you see the huge difference, 10 minutes versus 15 hours is a huge difference. So ultimately it's going to come down to price. But I mean, the AI bots are obviously truly more functional, truly more robust. And it's always going to be the choice of enterprise level client that can drop a huge amount of money on their bot. But these bots that we build are within reach of the average client. So the average client doesn't have $250,000 to go in and build a bot, or $50,000 to go in and build a bot. And trust me, I will tell you, if you approach me and want a complete custom bot, I will even tell you that $50,000 is a pretty shitball. It's a pretty shitball budget, and you're not going to get a really good bot and a really functional bot even for $50,000 if we're building a truly custom bot. You're going to get some functionality, and you'll get with me a lot more than you'll get with most other people. But my guys that I compete with in the U.S., on average, they're charging on average $175 per development hour once they sell their services. So even I give you a $50,000 budget and I divide that by the average market value, I got 285 hours divided by, let's say, 160. I got 2 months worth of dev time. You're not going to get a real super complex bot in 2 months worth of dev time from one single engineer. It's just not going to happen. So pretty low budget there. So I see that, Jesper, you said you tried to make a quiz or user test. Like, do you need a pot? Take this test using conditions in my flow. Depending on their answers, they will get different answers in the end, like the answer yes to question A, no to question B, or no to question A, yes to question B. That sums up crazy lot of answers I need to make predefined. I have 8 questions. Can I make some clever conditioning so that only need to make, for instance, 3 final answers? Does that make sense? It does in my head, but not when I write it down. Yes, but we'll have to go in we'll have to go in and actually think about this, but yeah, we can pretty much do anything that we want, but we could go in and create some conditional flow and create enough conditional logic where we could ultimately route people into just three different questions, right? So we could totally do that if we wanted to. So I've got a quiz somewhere in here, and we could go in and modify that. If you want to give the actual data, we can go in and build it. But yes, we can definitely do this, but we just have to spend the time and actually go in and take these 8 answers, right? For these 8 answers, let's say you got these 8 questions, and each question is going to have how many answers. So now that tells us how many total routes that we have, how many conditional routes that we have to route into our 3 different questions. So now at this point, we just need to go in and actually define the logic for, these, let's say you got some 8 questions and you got some 4 answers for each. So now you got some, what appears like 32, but it's actually a lot more routes than that. It's actually a lot more routes than that because it's 8 to the 4. So it's 8 to the 4th power. That's how many routes there is, which is a lot of damn routes. So we could go in and map out those actual routes and say, hey, if this is this, this, and this, then here's what the thing is actually going to look like. So we just need to go in and map those out. But yes, it's totally possible. So does that answer your question, Jasper, or do you need to see some? Do you need some?
Would it be able for me to see your quiz, because those many answers they frighten me. it's like scary to think about all the possible answers that people can get and all the answers that I have to give to them. So if I could just have it be like 4 final answers or so, I just can't figure out how do I get to that.
Well, I mean, you could do that easily. So let's go in and create some content here. Oh, thank you. Hey, would it be cool if I asked you for a cup of coffee? Would that be awesome? Thank you so much. So I'm just going to call this new MC quiz. And we'll create a new content here. Now, to make this easy, let's not give all 8 of your questions. Let's just give a couple of your questions.
Yeah, fine.
And a couple options. Question 1. Let's just make this multiple choice. Thank you so much. Let's just make this multiple choice. Well, we'll do A, B, and C for this guy. All right. Now we'll put this guy in. We'll put this guy in Q1 because we're already holding we already got a Q1. So now we'll have this guy here, and we'll call this question. We'll call this question 2, and we'll do the same thing here. We'll say this is a multiple choice guy. We'll have some A, B, and C, and we'll store this guy in Q2 because we just happen to have these question 1s, question 2s from other multiple choice quizzes that we've created. So let's ask him 3rd question. Question 3, and then let's also make this guy some multiple choice. We don't want these guys to skip this, so we'll put that in Q3. So now we're going to store that in Q3. And that's a multiple choice. So we're going to do A, B, C. All right. So now we've got these guys right here. All right. So now there's the beginning of our flow. From here, we just want to continue automatically. And let's go in and give some condition here. All right. Let's copy this guy. Give another condition here. All right. Let's give some other condition. And let's give some other condition here. All right. So each one of these conditions are just going to walk right into each other one. All right. So they're just going to walk in there. This guy is just going to walk in here to A. And actually, I would say both of these guys, this guy actually at this point isn't necessary. So this guy in here can just walk into on his no WTF, because we don't know why somebody got in here, because they should not be able to get into this no condition. Only these conditions should actually be able to exist, but we do want to have a conditional check to verify that those things are what we expect. So now we'll just look for that Q1. If this guy's A, we'll look for that. We'll look, so now we'll do what I recommend doing. I'll just delete these guys because it's faster for me to go in and delete these guys and copy this guy and recreate this guy than it is for me to actually go in and fill out those data, so that now I can just go in and change this to as if this guy is B or if this guy is C. So that actually ends up being faster than going and actually doing it. So now I've checked for all three conditions of this first guy. All right. So now I need to go in, and basically what I need to do, hold down my shift key. Once I hold down my shift key, I can grab all three of these. I can copy these guys and paste these guys and bring these guys over here, and then copy and paste those guys and bring those guys over there. And then that should be all I need right now, because I'm just going to route this guy into this condition. And then I'm going to route this guy into this condition. And then I needed one more guy, because I need to route this guy into this condition. And then I'm also going to need to route all these guys into another condition to check this third value. So this guy here is going to be checking if Q2 is A. So now I'll just go in and do this, and I'll go in and redelete these guys here. And then I'll copy this guy and paste him in there, and I'll paste that guy in there again. And then I'll just route these conditions right here, nice and grouped together. So now I can see this guy if he is B, and I can see if this guy is C. All right. If no, route in there. If no, route in there. All right. So now I would love not to have these guys all repeated for C, but I have to have them repeated for C because they're all going to have a different destination point, unless you don't want to have them to, unless you don't want them to have a different destination point. So that's up to you. So basically now what I need to do is I'll copy this guy, delete that guy. I'll grab this guy, delete that guy. Accidentally deleted that guy, and I didn't want to delete that guy, so let's put that guy back up there. And no offense, this could actually be a girl, by the way. So this thing doesn't always have to be a guy. It could be a girl. It could be a girl sometimes. So now we'll put this guy or girl or transgender, we'll put them right there. So now we've got a condition that checks, hey, is question 1 A? Okay, check that. Now see what question 2 is. Is question 2A or question 2B? So now we can go in here and we can grab these guys by hitting the shift key, holding that down, grabbing these guys, copying those guys, and pasting those guys. And now we've got that same option for this guy and then we can paste that guy in there again, and then now have the same option for that guy. All right, so now we can check, hey, what's Q1 if it's A? Okay, now let's check these guys. What's Q2 if it's B? What's Q1 is Q1B? Then check this guy. What's QC or Q1? Is it C? Now go in and check all my Q2s. All right, so now let's go in and copy this guy and paste this guy. Now this guy, I want to edit this guy to say, hey, is Q3 something? So is he A? Is he B? Is he C? So now I got those guys. Hold down my shift key again, grab those guys, copy those guys. I'm going to go ahead and hold down my shift key again and grab these guys and move them up here a little bit because I know that I'm going to have to stack these guys up. So now let's grab these guys, copy these guys, paste them in here, paste some more in here. And now these guys will route up here. These guys will route over here. These guys will route over here. And then now I need to do the exact same thing where I'm going in and basically, first thing, let's grab these guys here, because if not, this is going to start to get a little weird. So let's grab these guys and kind of just line up those conditional blocks there. And let's line up these conditional blocks kind of here in a row here, where now I can go in and actually look at those. So now I want to come in and do the same thing here, right? I'll grab those guys and put them there, grab those guys and put them there, grab those guys and put them there, and basically do the same thing. Route those guys here, route those guys there, route those guys there. And I need to do that one more time for these guys.
I definitely don't want 8 questions. I can see that now.
So you either don't want 8 questions, or you may want to just collect the questions and then send those questions out to Zapier once you collect all the data, and then let Zapier do this information for you. That will, you would need a massive amount of conditional blocks to come in and do here. Maybe all those questions, maybe you just evaluate those questions and find out if the data that you're getting from those questions, do you physically need that data to route that person to your end answer? If you don't need it, you can still ask for it, but just omit it from your conditional blocks. But yeah, you can see if you end up having, this is just having 3 questions. Now this is literally what our flow looks like if we have 3 questions, each only with 3 answers. So now as you can see, if we go in and create more than 3 questions, each with more than 3 answers, then this thing is going to get really, we're going to be like zoomed out here, and we're still going to see our conditional blocking. But the great thing is we only got to build this thing once, and once we build this thing once, then we're gravy and good.
But it's great with the copy pasting. That helps a lot.
Yeah, that makes it much quicker. We're easily going in and creating those guys, linking this guy in here, linking that guy in there, linking that guy in there. And now from here, we can go in and easily just have, let's say, 3 different messages. That now we have these 3 different messages here, and now we can go in and decide when we want to route. You know, this guy, we would end up routing this guy over here, and then this guy, we would end up routing this guy over here, and this guy will route this guy over here. But for this guy, it's completely different. We'll route this guy over here, and then we'll route this guy. This guy will go to the same guy, let's say in the middle, and then this guy will come over here. And only you can prevent forest fires. Only you can decide who needs to go where and when they need to actually go there according to the data that you're collecting. But it can totally be built, but this guy is just going to end up getting pretty big and pretty complex with 8 questions with multiple answers. So I would recommend sending this data out to, what I would recommend at this point is if you want to do this a lot easier, another recommendation that I could use to do this a lot easier is go in, and for these guys right here, all right, for all these guys right here, what maybe you want to do is for each person, whenever you collect this answer, you want to add some, let's say, weighted value to a variable. And then whenever you have your conditional block, you can just have a condition that says, hey, is this variable, let's say quiz score, is this guy between 0 and 1? If so, he gets this message. Is this guy greater than 1 but less than 2? If so, he gets this message. Is this guy greater than 2? And then he gets this message. And then every answer in the quiz, all you're doing is adding some amount to that value. So, so you're going to add some amount to that value, and then what you're going to do, instead of checking all these conditional variables, checking all these questions and their answer, you're just going to check that total score value, and based on that total score, and that could work for you. That could possibly not work for you depending on what you're doing. So
that might actually work. So if they got a high score, then I could give them one answer. If they got a low score, I could give them another answer.
Correct.
Oh, that's nice. I think I'll try that. Thank you.
You're welcome. What else? You guys have any other questions, any other things you want to see, anything else that you want to ask? Thanks, Robin. You're great too.
Hey, John, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Very good. A quick question. What would be the easiest way to create a directory? For example, top 10 doctors.
Yeah. So whatever you're saying is really breaking up, so I have no idea. I could faintly hear you whenever you said, can you hear me? This cover. I could faintly hear you whenever you said, can you hear me? And then after that, everything really started fading out where I couldn't hear you very well. So please repeat the question, because I have no idea what you said, buddy. Nothing, buddy. Very faint. Whatever you're saying, very faint, man. So scream into your mic. Just scream into your mic, or mute it, unmute it, start again, or
Easiest way to create a directory. Top 10
E-
doctors in Canada.
He says the easiest way to create a directory, something about coming out of Canada.
so the top 10 doctors in Canada. So what's the easiest way to create the directory, or the easiest way to have the bot reference the directory? The easiest way to create the directory, I would say, is you need to do some research and maybe make a spreadsheet and say, hey, these are the top 10 guys in this field, or something like that. I think you're wanting to know more specifically how to do something with that data once you get that data, right? So I think for this, to answer this efficiently, need to know a little bit more information of what exactly you're wanting to do and what exactly you're wanting to accomplish and how you would envision that working, to tell you what the easiest way is. So I would say essentially somebody could ask you, hey, could you recommend me a lawyer in Canada? and you could go in and basically have some spreadsheet that would have some row called Canada lawyer. And then in this next row, you could have one, this guy, 2, that guy, 3, other guy. And you could just have something like that. And then in the chat bot, somebody could ask you a keyword. And then based on that keyword where they said, hey, I need a lawyer. And you said, from where? And they're like, from Canada. And you can go in and look this guy up and then just pipe them back this row of data. And then maybe you can relate this data to another spreadsheet where you've got this guy, and then you got some info here where you can go in and they say, okay, give me information about this guy. And you can go to your other spreadsheet and actually look up this guy and get all his info and deliver him back his info. But like I said, we would probably need a little bit more information. And I need like 30 seconds so I can pee real quick, please. And we could use Zapier storage as well. So we could also go in and use Zapier storage, and in Zapier storage, we could store our Canadian lawyers as a list. And then we could just basically look that list up and give that list back. Hey, could you just, before you leave, could you grab me the other water, please? Thank you. There's a lot of possibilities that we could do, and that sounds a lot better there. There's a lot of possibilities. Good night, Jasper. But to find out which would be the best use case, we just need to collect a little bit more information about what it is that you're actually wanting to do. And then we can give you the best use case. But the couple that I described already, those I think would work fine in most instances.
Sounds good. So would most of the information be held in the Google Sheet?
Yep. They would be held in the Google Sheet, or in the Zapier storage. Yes.
Okay. All right. That's it, man. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Hi.
So what else? Anything else you guys want to go over? So this one's been about 2.5 hours for this one. So I think what I'll do is I'll stay for a minute because it sounds like D, you were going to say something, so we can resolve that, and then I'll probably just end this and then start another one either at 7 or 7:30, probably closer to around 7:30. Probably around 7:30 is when I would actually do the next one, so I can have like a little hour break to do something. But Dee, did you have something else you want to go over? Did anybody else have something that they wanted to go over before I end this session?
Okay, hey, give me a second, okay? Okay. I understand going on a break because I mean, I could, like I said before, I could probably sit here and listen to you guys talk about this for hours and take notes and mind map everything in my head. My one question would be, would you suggest, especially if one is similar to the gentleman had said before, wanting to make a quiz or a user test to see if somebody needs a bot. When you're working with multiple clients, do you have any kind of structure or a skeleton or foundation of a starting point so that when you, regardless of what client you're working with, you have something that you can automatically build from, so that it's not starting from scratch each and every time? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and that starting point ends up, you remember how I've been saying over and over that whenever you do anything, you want to come into content and create a new content and create a generic piece of content and give it a name that references that generic functionality that you want to do, like collect phone number or collect email, good night, things like that. So you build that library of actual modules, and then you can use those things over and over. You could just come in here and clone them from one page to another and have the basic infrastructure and scaffolding already built inside your new bot.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's a valid point. I got that there. I mean, aside from that, I don't have any questions jumping to the top of my mind. I still think I'm just piecing it all together and benefiting greatly from the questions that everybody else asks.
Great. Well, I'm glad that at least you're getting a benefit. So lots of other people have got a benefit, and that's the whole point of these training sessions, is to give you guys some value and to benefit you guys and help you guys be successful. So that's essentially exactly what I want, is to make sure that you guys are successful in your endeavors in building bots or starting your own bot agencies, and to be able to look back one day and see your success, and look back one day and be able to understand that that this guy right here, John Vaughn, gave you a huge jump start in the journey to your actual success, and you feel indebted to me, so that maybe someday later in the future I can get you to actually give me some value back for the value that I've given you. So hopefully everybody is getting an actual benefit from these training sessions. So if you're not, just tell me what I'm doing wrong, and then I'll adjust things accordingly to make sure you are getting indeed some value. So anybody else have anything else that they want to go over before we end this one? And like I said, I'll start another one. I'll start another one probably right at 7:30, so it'll be more or less an hour from now. But if anybody else has anything else, then we can kind of go over that. If not, then we can all just take a little break for about an hour.
Yeah, I'm good, and I will do my best to be back to the next class.
Okay. Well, I love kids, and I see you got your kids in the background, so don't hesitate to come with them and bring them. And if they get crazy and unruly, I'll just temporarily mute you until you grab a switch or put them in a closet or give them a piece of candy or whatever you do. No problem, Colin. My pleasure, man. So I'll just end this one. I'll send you guys all out a notification in about an hour, 40 minutes, an hour, and let you know that I'm starting the next one, so you can jump on then, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, guys. Thanks for coming.